or smartphone, DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show is streaming to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guests in studio this morning are from the Weldon Springs Foundation, Stephanie Russell and Patty Kinder. Stephanie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming out. And Patty, good morning to you. You've had a busy summer, it sounds like.
Yes, very busy.
Pull that mic a little closer to you if you don't mind. Thank you, ladies. And as we talk here for this morning, Stephanie, the president of the Weldon Springs Foundation. And Stephanie, exciting event and happenings this weekend at the park. What's going on?
Well, it's busy times. Again, I want to say we are open Wednesday to Sunday in both buildings, and September 17th, 1 to 3 this Saturday, we are celebrating Weldon Springs as a state park. Weldon Springs was purchased by the state in 1947 for $50,000. It started as a 40-acre plot by Judge Lawrence Weldon, and in 1936, it was given to the town of Clinton by his son, Lincoln Weldon, and then it was sold to the state with 115 acres for $50,000 in 1947. That's what we're celebrating. And now we have a 500-acre state recreational park. And we have plenty of pictures and fun history facts and cookies and punch. And we really would like to have lots of people come out and see what 75 years as a state park has done for us. And it'll be the 17th from 1 to 3.
So 75 years of Weldon Springs State Park celebrated this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. You talked a little bit about kind of the history of how it came to become a state park.
Right.
You mentioned, though, that it really grew from
Right.
150 acres to 500. Did I hear that right?
Right. Well, we started with just 40 acres.
40 acres,
That's
okay.
what Lawrence Weldon purchased. And as it grew, we have to really thank so many farmers, so many people who donated land, because as the time went by, this park grew to 500 acres.
Right.
So there's lots going on out there.
Was it, excuse me, as they donate land, was it agriculture land or was it just kind of the prairie, the widespread prairie we know it to be today?
Well, we do have Salt Creek going through. So there are parts of our park that are not wonderful farmland.
No, sure.
But yes, there was a lot of it that was good farmland that got donated as farmers died. They left it to us in wills, and some the state purchased.
Sure.
Some of them the taxes weren't paid. So
it got relinquished. I see.
So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, as it relates to just the history of Weldon Springs and all of those things, of course, many developments have come to be over that time. Of course, campground, trails, the schoolhouse now out there. Talk about some of those things that developed over time.
Well, of course, one of the very first things they did, there were springs all over Weldon Springs. That's
why it got
its name.
Sure.
And they made the dams. So there have been at least 3, maybe 4 dams worked. And that is why we have a lake, because of the feeding of the springs and Salt Creek. This is not a cheap, as 2 people who tried to run it discovered, and a town. This is not a cheap place. It requires a lot of.
You got to mow.
You got to mow. You got roads. You've got bridges. You've got all kinds of things, trails. So when the town had it, everybody talks about the first thing they see all the pictures of the kids swimming. Why can't we swim? Well, the state didn't want to mess with that. And there was a beach, and people who are in their 70s probably remember going to the beach.
There was a beach.
There was a beach. There was a great big tall tower that you could jump off in the middle of the lake.
No way.
There was all kinds of swimming. You'll see in our pictures all kinds of kids on the beach swimming. But after 47, there was no swimming.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
yeah.
Wow. That sounds like a lot of fun though, and that
it was a lot
yeah.
of fun, but
had to bring a lot of
again,
people out and such.
I mean, in just the time frame that I've been around, they've had to dig it out, to dredge the lake.
Sure.
So not
Well,
a cheap thing.
No, it's not. And talk a little bit about, maybe some of the ebbs and flows of, upkeep and maintenance of the park, because I know there was a time where Weldon Springs was threatened to be shut down and, some of those things. What have been some of the challenges or the highlights of the 75 years of Weldon Springs?
Well, I remember when they tried to shut the lake or shut the whole park down. And we had wonderful friends and farmers. There was quite a crowd at the front of the park to stop them from closing it down.
Yeah, sure.
But back in the day when it was kept like it was pristine and everything was mowed. I think a lot of people look at it now and say, well, it's a prairie park. Well, it's a lot of fun because every time you come out, there are different flowers blooming in the prairie.
Right.
So some of that has been good things.
I took I took my when I first got my dog and he was a little puppy, I took him out to the springs and we're walking the trails and I kind of got lost. And so I'm just kind of walking around. Like I know where I'm at in relation to the park. I'm not like lost. I just wasn't on the trail that was kind of laid out. And we stumble upon just this massive herd of deer. Yeah. And they just didn't care that we were there and just kind of stood there. It was something. It was I had never seen that before. Another time we're in that I don't know what the trail is called, but it's that one that goes down that real steep hill and then you kind of wander around that little valley and
that's the sledding hill.
The sledding hill, thank you. Yeah. And we're coming back up on the other side of that trail. And these three just massive deer. I mean, they were just huge, just trample right in front of us, just right across the trail. Like if my dog would have been 5 feet up, he would have been probably just been run over by these deer. It was crazy, just out of nowhere. So it's amazing the stuff you'll see out there.
Yes, we have a lot of wildlife. The deer are just running wild out there. Actually, at the schoolhouse, we've witnessed 3 deer. We call them the triplets, just babies, really cute.
Yeah.
And they're out there quite a bit. We do have a wonderful park with all kinds of stuff for everybody. One of the things I do want to say is the upkeep of the park is actually pretty amazing when you think that there's really only 3 people that are maintaining everything, mowing the grass, taking care of the campground, mowing all the trails. We have our park superintendent, Charlie, we have Jay, and then there's a camp host that helps out, Jim.
Yeah.
Those 3 take care of the park. So, hats off to them. They
Sure.
do a great job.
Now, Patty, I know that you were hired this year
Yes.
as a part of Weldon Springs State Park. Tell us about that a little bit.
Yes. Last year, I kind of volunteered and did a little bit. And then that gave me the desire to try to get the job. Finally, the state opened it up. And on June 1st, I started my first day at Weldon Springs. I'm there Wednesday through Sunday. And both buildings are open. I've had a ton of people come in. A lot of people saying, I always look through the window. Nobody's ever here. So it's exciting to be able to walk them through it and to give them a little bit of the history.
Sure.
If you come out to the buildings, I'll give you the history. I'm learning a lot about nature. So the nature center that we have, I can't answer all the questions, but I'll try to find the answers.
How long have you been volunteering, working with Weldon Springs Foundation and the park and those things?
Okay. I think it was back in 2019, my husband and I became members of the foundation.
Sure.
And right away, I love history. So I started volunteering in the schoolhouse.
Gotcha. And that's Patty Kinder with the Weldon Springs Foundation. And along with us is Stephanie Russell, who is the president of the Weldon Springs Foundation, in studio today. What have you learned? And tell us the story about how the buildings got to Weldon Springs. Probably a lot of people know this, but there's probably many that don't. How about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't know it. The buildings were they arrived at two different times. The schoolhouse came from the Chestnut Beeson area, and the George W. Bunn Jr. family owned it. And I think it's important that we remember his name. He was the one who told his daughter, don't tear down the building. They lived in it from 1947 until a time I don't know. She was the one who donated it to the park. Carol Thompson and Dave Herzog wanted it, and they brought it there. The townspeople actually raised the money to get it. And
This was when?
This was back in 1988.
Okay.
Yes. It started in 1987. In 1988, the building landed there. Now, you talked about the Prairie Grasses. That was not always there. That was built. That was created when the buildings came.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And actually, Betty Klein is one of our members, and I don't think she'd be, I'd be wrong to say her name and her story. She remembers going out on railroad tracks, getting seeds from plants to bring to the prairie, which I thought was wonderful. Yes, it is also state funded. They bought seeds to plant there.
Right.
They're all natural, native to the area. But Betty remembers going out there and collecting seeds for our prairie grasses.
Wow.
And I believe
prairie
it's 12 acres.
Prairie grass is somewhat of a protected species in Illinois. I mean, if you're riding along, say, like Route 10, I know 54, I see them all over the place. And, sometimes in other rural areas, like there's those signs that talk about like this, prairie grass is a protected, something would have to do with like DNR and those sorts of things. So very cool that it's at Weldon Springs. And, I guess, what have you learned about like the prairie grass aspect of Weldon Springs? Because I know there's like controlled burns every so often. There was like, I want to say several years ago, there was like an every 10-year, I don't even remember what they did with it. Maybe it was a burn. I'm not sure. But anyways,
Charlie, the superintendent, likes to burn. And and it's good because we had so much olive in there. And you just can't get rid of it until you cut it and you pull it out and you burn it.
Oh, okay.
So that anything that's left and
it was a big project, if I remember right.
It still is.
Is it? Okay.
I mean,
okay.
For him to keep it up, it is.
Gotcha.
A lot of work.
Patty, what have you learned? I didn't mean to cut off our conversation there. What have you learned about like the prairie grass side of that, or was that kind of the highlights of what you've taken away from it?
I've learned a lot. I'm now starting to have my own prairie in my yard. Butterflies and the hummingbirds, they're all coming to those type of flowers. I've created a couple of different displays on the wildflowers because I think they're wonderful.
Sure.
When you come out, I try to have handouts so that when you're out in the prairie, you can see the difference between the cup plant and the prairie dock. It's all very interesting.
Anything from you, Patty, on the 75th celebration this weekend? Maybe something you're excited about that you're going to display or tell folks about, anything like that?
I have made some displays. There are so many pictures. There's so much in our archives that I can't even begin to tell you. Come out, see the pictures, experience it for yourself. I think it'll be a wonderful time. Gotcha.
Very good. Stephanie, from you, 75th this Saturday. Did we miss anything? If not, re-highlight all the happenings.
Well, I really want to stress that there's so many things about the Chautauquas, and people have a lot of questions. Some very important people were here. The president of the United States was here. Helen Keller. We had the cream of the crop.
Really?
We actually had better attendance than they did in Champaign and Bloomington. We beat them many times. For the best.
Which president came?
Would have been Taft.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes,
cool.
he came in 1916.
No
3
kidding.
years after he was president. But I believe it was Vice President Sherman came when he was actually vice president.
No kidding. Holy cow. Wow. That's amazing.
We had some amazing things, and we have big pictures of them.
Well, can't wait to see them. Re-highlight what's happening Saturday, Stephanie.
All right. We're going to start at 1:00, and we're going to go to 1 to 3. And we hope we have lots of people out to see what 75 years being a state park has done.
Can't wait to see it. We'll look forward to it. Check it out. That's again Saturday afternoon from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Weldon Springs State Park. Again, our guest in studio, Stephanie Russell, is the president of the Weldon Springs Foundation, and Patty Kinder is an employee of Weldon Springs. And we talk more with them coming up on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Tuesday. I'm Jim Taylor for the RFD Radio Network. Corn mostly lower, beans higher, and wheat starting the day higher. September corn, 721 up 8 3/4. December corn down 1 3/4, 694 1/4. March corn, 697 3/4, down 1 3/4. September beans starting the day, 1556. That's up 6 1/4. November beans up 2 3/4, 1491. January beans up 2 3/4, 1495. September wheat, 850 up 8 3/4. December wheat up 7 1/2, 866 1/4. March wheat, 880. That's up 6 3/4. October bean meal, 437.40. That's down 240. September bean oil, 72.44, up 52 cents. Look at the opening numbers for this Tuesday morning. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
We often use the term full service, but what does that really mean? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. Full service means we provide solutions for your transportation problems. We have 24 hours towing, collision repairs, engine maintenance, tire replacement and alignments, including wheel balancing. We're your problem-solving team. We pledge to listen to your car concerns and discuss your best options. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show is streaming to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today, again, Stephanie Russell is the president of the Weldon Springs Foundation, and Patty Kinder is an employee of Weldon Springs this year. And Patty, I know you wanted to put out information about how folks follow along with the 75th celebration on Saturday. There's Facebook and other ways. How do folks keep up with everything?
Yeah, we do have a Facebook page, Weldon Springs State Park Foundation. Our profile picture is the American flag. And we also have an email address, weldonspringsfoundation@yahoo.com. I encourage all teachers, if you're interested to come out for a field trip, definitely email me. We'd love to have you. I will be there through October 31st.
All right. So field trip time.
Yes.
Forget about that sometimes as well. So now once we get past this weekend, ladies, more things to come at Weldon Springs. Halloween. What's going on, Stephanie?
Yeah. Always remember too that we are open all of October. So all those pretty fall days when you're out walking, stop by the schoolhouse. Halloween is a dress up day. Of course, the kids love to come with their costumes on, and it's October 22nd. And we're going to play games and have food and and just really candy, of course, because you can't have Halloween without candy.
Right.
And last year we were really surprised at how much the kids enjoyed the games. They like playing with adults.
So what'd you play last year?
One of the favorite one was kind of a game that I didn't think much of, but they loved it. You got you had two teams, and of course these were big kids, little kids, and half the team on one side, half the team on the other side. You gave them a glass of water, and they had to walk down to that, and then another team member got it and walked back, and at the end we measured the 2 glasses of water to see who had the most water, and that of course they were the winners. The kids thought it was hilarious because you had itty bitty ones and you had the tall ones, and everybody said, "Oh, come on, you can do it, you can do it."
Yeah. So you're carrying more than one glass of water?
One glass of water.
But are there multiple that you're transporting at a given time, or like
each child had one glass of water to go to the end of the line, and then that somebody else got it and come back. It sounds easy. It wasn't.
I was going to say that must be a real challenge then.
It was for little kids, and a lot of times the little ones they dropped a little water, but the big ones really cheered them on.
I'll bet so. I'll bet
yeah,
so.
we had a lot of fun.
Now, again, Halloween activities this year are when?
It's October 22nd, 1 to 3.
Mhm.
And the campground then also has a party there, but theirs is in the evening.
Okay.
So we'll be done before they start. And Santa is coming to the schoolhouse December 11th and 1 to 3. And last year it was very successful. Santa and Mrs. Claus are so patient, and the pictures were adorable because the sunlight was just right, and our pictures were really good. And he got every child.
No
to
kidding.
come
Well,
out.
he's Santa Claus. I mean,
He's Santa Claus.
Yeah. So,
So there was plenty of time and patience there. So
all right.
come out
awesome.
and see us.
That is when? December
On
12th?
December the 11th,
11th.
1 to 3, and come and see us because you need to enjoy your park.
All right, very good. So, ladies, still a couple minutes here with you this morning. Anything else we haven't touched on today you want to mention, Stephanie, Patty? Anything we haven't got to?
Yes, actually, we're having a tree walk also. That's going to be October 8th. I'm not sure of the time yet. I still need to check with the woman from the extension office.
Okay.
So follow us on Facebook to find out the exact time on that.
Tree walk. I'm guessing there's probably many different trees to check out and their specialties and those sorts of things.
Yes.
Highlight those for us,
Yeah.
Patty.
Well, there are a lot of trees and a lot of different varieties of trees within the park. I do have a display on that in the schoolhouse. Very interesting to find out the different leaves and how you can tell a tree differently from the bark, from the leaves.
Okay.
Dave Herzog was really up on planting different trees,
Yeah.
all Illinois trees, but
Yes.
different trees in the area. And we have a lot of different trees
Yeah.
in the schoolhouse because he put each one, that's what he wanted.
Really, really. What's the most unique animal you've seen out there, Patty?
Most unique. Well, I don't know if it's unique, but where it was is unique. A bat in the
Really?
history room.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa, that would scare the daylights out of me.
It was interesting. And,
Oh, my.
And the couple that I was touring around, they were fine with it.
Really?
We just kind of left it, and Charlie came over later and took care of it.
Oh, my word. That would scare me to death.
Yeah.
Stephanie, Saturday, big event. Highlight this for us one more time as we let you go.
75 years of being a state park, Weldon Springs, 1 to 3. We're going to celebrate our
History.
history and the beginning and where we are now.
Sure. All right. So check it out. 1 to 3 Saturday at the schoolhouse,
At
correct?
the schoolhouse.
All right. Very good. And again, Patty, if you don't mind, highlight the Facebook page for us.
Yes, Weldon Springs State Park Foundation. Look for the flag in the profile picture.
Very good. Ladies, it's always good to have you in. Thanks so much for making time for us today.
Thank you.
Stephanie Russell is the Weldon Springs Foundation president, and Patty Kinder works for Weldon Springs State Park. With that, network news on the way. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance.
WHOW.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton 92.3 FM.